So you want to play WoW now? With Legion, the new expansion for World of Warcraft launching, there's a lot of hype around WoW again, even though the game has been around for over a decade. But can you really jump into the game now for the first time? Well, I decided to give it a go. Look, I've never played WoW. In fact, my only experience in Warcraft are the 3 real-time strategy games and that movie that came out this year. Oh, and a certain South Park episode if you want to count that. In fact, I don't even have any MMORPG experience, so I'm pretty much as noob as they come. So luckily, I managed to wrangle someone far more experienced than I am, not that it's really saying much, to get some top tips for starting out in WoW for the first time. And so after playing now for a few days, these are the tips that have helped me the most. Tip number 1. Get a friend to help you. Obviously, this isn't always the easiest thing to do, as you might not have any friends. Or at least you might not have any that play WoW. But I have to say, having someone to babysit you through the first few days really does help, assuming they actually know what they're doing. Tip number 2. Picking a server. There are hundreds of different servers, or realms as they call them, but luckily some of them are labeled new players, and so I would recommend that you start out in one of these. But you can also join any server you want, so it's best to probably join whichever server your friends are playing on. Just remember, if you play on a PvP server, you could get ganked by other players. Tip number 3. Player creation. There are numerous ways to play WoW, and a lot of this depends on your character. And this starts with the player creation screen. So decide what sort of playstyle do you want. Damage dealer, spellcaster, tank, healer, whatever. Then pick the race you think suits your style. Or do what I do and whichever looks coolest. Some classes are seen as easier to play than others. And so, for example, I was recommended to try Hunter at first. So greetings, infamous GW, the Blood Elf Hunter. Tip number 4. Getting to know the layout. Luckily, I was taken through a tutorial of my new skills, because if it weren't for that, the layout might have appeared to be a complete mess of hundreds of different spells and abilities. This is where a friend or some quick googling can help in getting you info on what your spells do, which ones to focus on, and useful key bindings. Tip number 5. Get some add-ons. There are some really cool programs that you can run to provide very valuable information in WoW. One which was recommended to me was a program called Curse Client, which you then run different scripts and mods. And this can help to provide you info such as DPS, what spells bosses are using, cooldown timings on your abilities, or change the look and feel of the display, whatever suits you. Don't worry, this isn't cheating and everyone does it. Tip number 6. Learn the hotkeys. In the middle of a fight, trying to move your mouse around between your spells, your abilities, and enemies on the screen can be pretty intense, so learn the hotkeys on your keyboard for each spell. Another suggestion is to make the ones that you are likely to use often as close to your hand's resting position as possible. Tip number 7. Join a guild. One of the best parts about WoW is the community, and one of the best ways to get to know the community is to join a guild. There are various types of guilds for various types of players at various different levels. Some are focused on raids, others on PvP battles, some just on role-playing and having fun. So once you find your style, try finding a guild and make some friends. Try dungeons. As soon as you're level 15, you can queue for dungeons. I played a few, and this is where the fun of playing with others really comes in. Especially at the higher difficulty levels, everyone has to play their role in order to successfully clear the dungeon and get the epic loot that drops from dungeon bosses. The best tip for last. Have fun. WoW is a game about you and your part in this massive world. So do what you want to do. Don't be afraid to try new things. There's almost nothing you can do wrong, and even if you die, the penalty for doing so is not that bad. You just resurrect a few seconds later and try again. I've been playing WoW now for a couple of days and have thoroughly enjoyed my experience so far, but have to say it can be quite daunting because there is just so much going on. There's so many different ways to play the game that it is quite easy to get lost in all the sheer detail and things to do. So I suggest following these tips, do a bit of reading, and try get some friends involved to really maximize your WoW experience. It certainly has made the difference in my playthrough. With Legion about to launch, I'm going to try some of the high level content, having boosted my character to level 100. Obviously to see if a complete noob like myself can jump into the endgame content without standing out too badly. So stay tuned to see if I make a success of it or it becomes just another epic fail. If you found this video useful, please do give it a like and a share, and if you want more content, well, it's as easy as just clicking that subscribe button. Until next time, guys and girls, you've been awesome, and I've been Gareth Woods.